Okay. Last week we started a series about strengthening our spiritual core. Katie kicked us off and she talked about the spiritual core and the physical core so we could make some correlations, understanding that if your spiritual core is not, or if your physical core is not strong, it inhibits all your movement. Everybody said, I already knew that?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys don't sound very wise at all. Did you know if your physical core is not strong, it will inhibit your motion?
Yes.
All right. Yes. Did you know if your spiritual core is not strong, it will inhibit your manifestations, your ability to feel love, your ability to give love? Did you know that?
Yes.
Okay, well that's why you're here, so we can help you strengthen that spiritual core. But it really does. The spiritual core is so important, and I love the way Katie talked to us last week about it being an automatic response. When the physical core is strong, the body automatically responds. When the emotional core, or the spiritual core is not strong, we respond from our emotions instead of our spirit. I thought that was a really important point. I hope everybody heard that.
Yeah.
Because can you remember times when you respond with your emotions instead of your spirit? Yeah. And then your spirit goes, oh, time to meditate. So what we're about this month is really trying to strengthen the spiritual core. So it becomes this automatic place, our go-to place, where everything that we do stems from its strength. You know, take no thought. That's our goal this month. Okay. So today I'm going to talk with you about the power of gentle. And gentle is tender, it's soft, it's kind. It is very considerate and sweet. Can you feel gentle? Power is a force of exertion. Power is strength. Power makes things happen. Can you feel the two? Do you know that it takes just as much energy to sit in a state of quiet meditation as it does to do something? When you are sitting in a space and going within and connecting, you are exerting as much power as when you're actually mowing the lawn, as when you're actually doing something. But you're exerting it in a different way. Think about it. It's true. Our focus has gone from outer demonstration to an inner awareness. But we are still vibrating. We vibrate all the time. We're vibrating. So, they were showing me this morning when we're in that space of inner focus, so often we feel as if we're just getting refueled. Like this beautiful light of God is pouring through us and we're just getting recharged, so we have the energy now to go forward. We're fueling that spiritual core. We're getting food for it. But we're doing more than that. We're actually experiencing this presence and this vibration moving through us. This actually becomes a state of being. We are being in that moment, not just being fed. And you realize when you do the meditation and you feel that feeding, but you can feel the being. And then when you open your eyes, what is it that you want to do? Do you want to go take someone's head off and hand it to them? Do you want to yell at somebody? You want to kick the cat? No. You want to love. Those things are the furthest thing from your mind. None of us pop out of a meditation and say, I'm going to go get that person. And we may have gone into the meditation with that feeling. But we come out, and we come out in this beautiful space of, refuel, I am, I want to love. You see, it's this beautiful, beautiful recentering of self. We touched the gentle, that gentle space within us. And that is the space where we accept. We allow. We accept. Can you feel it when I speak of it? All right. We know we have very powerful moments. And when we move into this space that I speak of, this gentleness, and we begin to vibrate. You may not have been aware of this, but you are in your most authentic state. Because you are vibrating in that moment the totality of who you are, that you've been able to amass in this lifetime. You're vibrating your beliefs, you're vibrating your consciousness, you're vibrating all of you, who you are. You are authentically you. You didn't know that, did you? But it feels really good when you're in that space, doesn't it? So authentic you feels really good. Who you truly are. When we open our eyes and begin to navigate at a different level, we are experiencing different aspects of ourselves. Because we're not always that forceful being, are we? Or that upset being. Those are only aspects. But when we're in the gentle space, we're in our authenticity, which has all of our creativity, all of our thoughts, all of our beingness held in vibration, held in space. All right. I want you to think about when you are in that space, or any space, and you feel God's love. You could be taking a shower. That happens to many people in the shower. You could be driving your car, and you are talking to someone, and you feel God's presence just come over you. You know what I'm talking about. And it feels so full. It feels so warm, so filled with love, so unconditional. It is a presence that fills every nook and cranny of your being. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And is there any lack in that presence? It's accepting, allowing, and loving of you. It's loving of you. But in that presence, there is no need. There's no desire. But there's complete empowerment. When you feel God, do you not feel the power of that presence? And do you not then feel the oneness with that presence? In this beautiful presence of God, empowerment occurs. But it is without force. Do you understand? Okay. We feel this complete fullness, and it is beyond words and beyond thoughts, but it's a wholeness that we feel. The immense power is filled with a gentleness. God's presence is filled with power. Yes?
Yes.
So what does that say about your presence? Your presence is filled with power. How often do you just honor your presence? I just want to be in someone's presence. I just want to sit next to someone for a minute. I don't have to say anything. I just want to be with them. Do you realize that you're actually sharing your energy when you sit next to people? You're actually being in, when you're in one another's presence, you're actually sharing, loving, and honoring one another. But how many of us, when you go to value yourself, do you say, my presence is awesome? Or do you count your accomplishments based only on what you've been able to do in the outer world, instead of this energy of who you are inside? I know this is very simple. Are you all already well versed in this? All right. The other thing about when you move into your presence that you may not realize, when you move into that presence of you, you can be one with God, you can be just feeling your own nature, which is one with God, wherever your focus is. When you're in the space of gentleness, your spiritual core is quickened, and you become a magnet. You become a magnet. We often talk about owning a level of consciousness, or this is by right of consciousness, something occurs. Y'all know what we're talking about? When you own a level of consciousness, all your beliefs are vibrating out, and it will always bring back to you what you believe. It just comes back to you. When you, by right of consciousness, have something occur, you've done nothing to make it happen. It is the core, the spiritual core, that becomes a magnet in these moments of quietude, of gentleness. That's when everything begins to vibrate authentically, and the world begins to respond to you. Now, how often, when we want something, do we take that approach? or do we begin to do things? So often when we start to do things to make things happen, we're really sculpting the energy and we're blocking the magnetic draw of our authentic self. Do you understand? And we get out and we get busy and we get manifesting, focusing, affirming, all these things. And this is all trying to mold the ethers to make something in matter. And that's a way. Absolutely a fabulous way to manifest. But we forget this way. This space within our hearts that owns a level of beingness that, if allowed just to vibrate, will automatically draw the perfect experience for you. The perfect experience. That gentle power within you that brings to you what you need. We all own levels of consciousness. We all own different things. When we own some of us own the level of being loved. Does anybody walk around saying, man, I am never not loved? Well, some people in the world, they own this level of consciousness. And they do walk around saying, I am never not loved. And it's always there for them. But when we're looking for love, we can feel that love within, right? And then we go out looking for love. But if we step back from looking for love, do you think love will find us? Yeah. It's the same with prosperity. You know, when you're in this oneness and there's just beauty, do you lack for anything? No. We go out in the world and we start looking for money, looking for this, looking for that. Whereas if you step back from that activity, it will automatically come for you because you own that. Now, some of us may be still teetering in our spiritual core about what we own and what we don't own. Some of us don't know that we own certain things. And it's important to begin to grow that and become aware of it. You eat every day? So you own in consciousness that you will be fed. You have a roof over your house, over your head. You own in consciousness you have a place to live. Right? I own in consciousness that I will always work. Many times in my youth, I would give notice without a job lined up. I would give 2 weeks' notice. Never did I not leave that office and walk right to another one the very next day. Never. Because I own that in consciousness. That's what I do. I work. You wind me up, I work. I would walk anywhere and work. That's just what I do. I'd have a job. I own a home in consciousness. I've never lived with anyone. People live with me. It's my home, my space. You know, even as a young girl, I had my own apartment. People moved in with me. You see, never question that it will be my home I live in. I'll always live in my home, you see. And you can think of little things that have always been consistent for you as well. These are levels of consciousness that you own. Without effort, by simply going to the heart, this will come to you naturally. Do you know what Patrick owns in consciousness? Cheryl knows. Getting the best deal ever. If there's a deal to be had, it will find him. He does not pay full price. No. That's my job. But he doesn't have to negotiate. He just has to stand there and be. And the universe brings him the deals, because that's what he owns in consciousness, you see. Our consciousness is so unique to us. It's so unique to who we are, yet it's filled with every possible desire you could have. So we can grow our consciousness to greater. We can own what we already own. Own what you already own. Own what you own. It takes a lot of work to go from one level of pay and change jobs and drop levels of pay, because you've just squished your consciousness. It's easy, own what you own, to go from one pay level right into another one. And if you choose to expand it, you can go up. Are y'all hearing me? Everything that you've already accomplished, everything that you already are, is within the spiritual core. And what we want to do is begin to allow it to magnetize and grow into a higher level of expression. All right. Expanding our magnet allows our authenticity to expand. When we're in God, everything is there, you're full and whole. In you, there is nothing denied, no lack. If you can get consciously into the awareness that that's what I want to live in, that creates the core to magnetize to that. Do you ever have that when you feel that presence of God and say, man, I want to live there? I want to live there forever, forever. And that comes with claiming it and expanding it. In the gentleness and not the force. I wanted to share a story from the Aquarian. This is one that I've always found really interesting. You know, every time Jesus heals anyone, he typically will say to them, would you be healed? Do you want to be healed? Or they will say to him, will you heal me? There's an exchange, you know. Sometimes he'll go in and he'll teach, like at the fountain. You know, why are you guys waiting to be healed? You know, he'll intercede and teach. But there's one instance, and this is in, I'm reading out of the Aquarian. It's also in the King James New Testament. It's a very interesting story. Jesus was on the road to Hermon, and he saw a multitude about the gates, and it was a funeral train. A widow's son was dead, and friends were bearing the body to the tomb. They always bury outside the city walls. It was the widow's only son, and she was wild with grief. And Jesus said to her, weep not, I am the life, and your son shall live. And he raised his hand, and the bearers of the dead stood still. And he reached the briar and said, young man, return. And the soul returned. The body of the dead was filled with life, and the man sat up and spoke. And everyone was astonished. And one man said, praise God. And then the priest said, this is a holy man. And Jesus left. Very simple story. He didn't go to the mom and say, would you be healed? He didn't go to the son's soul and say, would you be healed? He simply saw a mom loving her son. Almost by right of consciousness. I just feel this woman must have loved her son so greatly that by right of consciousness, by her living love, she happened to be at the gate at the time when the master of love was there. By right of consciousness, he did not say, do you believe it's possible I can raise your son? By right of consciousness, he went in and loved her son. Because the love that she had in her world was so great. And by right of consciousness, the soul of the young man returned. He must have also been filled with a sense of love and hope. Do you see? This is just a very simple moment. There is no great lesson. There's no great teaching. Just when Jesus found a woman who vibrated at the level that he could come and help. And her son as well. Do you see? And whether she saw him again, I don't think it ever matters. Whether her son heard of him again, I don't think it ever matters. But it's a beautiful story of just energy. Can you feel that if we could vibrate at such a frequency, then every step and every moment we would be met with and aligned with the perfect situation to support our consciousness, to support the love we want to live by, you know, to support the truth that we have in our heart. That gentleness. It's good to manifest. It's good to affirm. But it's also good to sit in your authentic beingness and be. Growing this awareness of our magnet, growing our level of consciousness, it comes with being gentle with yourself, accepting yourself. Do you accept yourself? I know if I do anything that offends, I am very hard on myself. Very hard. It's hard to forgive myself sometimes if I do anything that offends. But to live with acceptance and forgiveness for self, to live with no expectation of self, to quit asking self to jump this high, when self can only go that high. You know, to allow self to be who self is. To be as gentle with ourselves as we are with our children. Those little baby children that run around, to be as gentle with ourselves as we are with these babies. That will grow the core, the spiritual core. And the other thing that will grow the core is this: knowing your needs can be met. In the Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East, which is a series of 5 books that cover a journey of Baird Spalding in the late 1800s, and he's met with master teachers. And the whole first book, really, before they even start teaching anything spiritually, you know what they show them over and over again? Your needs are met, we got you. Here's your food, we got you. Here, this is where we're going to go. You're protected, we got you. And they live with them in that conditioning before they even begin to teach them about the higher laws. Because until you know your needs are met, you scramble, you fight, you resist, you argue, you protect. We do all these things, not you, all of us do this. To expand our spiritual core is to take that beautiful energy of the fullness of God and know my needs will now be met because I am in the fullness of God. Simple? Shall we go there?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a moment. Put your feet on the floor, just breathe. Gentleness. God, our Father, our Mother, I ask that your beautiful Spirit just fill this room. And I ask that a beautiful column of light just come over each one of us. Just filling our minds and spirits. And I want each of you just to let your focus now go to a column of light over you. Notice the color. Feel what you feel. And I want you to let your feeling go to your heart center now. And as you focus on your own heart, you can feel the presence of God moving through there. That beautiful energy of peace. Feel as if you can stand in your own heart. And notice just what you feel. And I want you to consciously now take a breath and breathe the thought of peace into your heart. Peace. And now say to that self within, I accept myself. If there's anything I need to forgive, I just take a breath and blow pink love to it now, letting it go. I forgive. I choose to stand in the presence of God. I choose to feel the deep, indwelling presence of God. And I want you to begin to become aware of your spiritual core. Perhaps it will look like a star vibrating in front of you or an inner column of light. I want you just to feel this vibration of your inner spiritual core. And I want you to desire to feel that space. So breathe and move into that space of your spiritual core. And as you do, feel a beautiful strength moving through you. Feel your inner strength, your power. And now relax into that space and ask to feel that gentleness of your own spirit. Breathe and just let it flow. And now feel the beautiful light of God moving into that spiritual core. God, my Father, my Mother, Feel me now. All my needs are met. All my desires are fulfilled. There is nothing I need to do or be. And just let that beautiful breath of God fill your heart, fill your core. Until you feel the light beginning to build and flow through the physical body. And I want you to feel it begin to vibrate out of your body now. And feel your presence begin to ignite. I am a child of God. And feel light vibrating from your central core out through your body, into your auric field, into the room. I am a child of God. And in this beautiful vibration, feel there is no lack. All is fulfilled. And for one moment, feel the empowerment that your presence vibrates. And we thank you, God. Feel the love of God enfolding you. And just let that vibration move. Your gentleness, your authentic self, the truth of your being, the I am. I am a magnet for good. And feel that vibration just moving out now. All my needs are met, and I am a magnet for good. And it is effortless. Breathe, bring your focus back just to your heart, and feel your own gentle spirit. God, my Father, my Mother, I ask that you bless each one today. That as they go forth this day, they feel their value, their beauty, their natures. And I thank you for this. And so it is. Gently breathe, bring your energy back. And when you're ready, open your eyes. How did it feel? Could you feel yourself vibrating out?
Yeah.
Could you feel that beautiful, powerful energy moving?
Mm-hmm.
That's who you are. And next time somebody rushes up just to stand by your side, I know why they're standing by my side. That's what I want you to say. They saw the light of my beautiful presence. I want you to work with your gentle spirit, which means sit in your essence of selflessly. Say, yay, God.
Yay, God.